Well, hi there. It's it's a super duper clean day. I've yeah, I just totally. I spent like half an hour in the shower. It's a little too much information. We're still on lockdown times, but this is actually one of the warmer days we're having. So most of the kids, which aren't necessarily bound by a lot of the rules, are out playing around, and they've all flooded their fields. It's like in the mid 50s today. It's crazy. I'm going out for a bike ride later. Hello, my name's Theo. My channel name's Dashric because it's a long story. I play middle linebacker for the Hilversum Hurricanes in Europe. Europe, like not the Western Hemisphere. Just putting that one out there. And I always start these videos out to, with a bit of comments, especially if they're, that are definitely football related. And let's see, 2 days ago, that was a Friday. Yeah, okay, football uniform, suit up. Nice gut, LOL. Linebackers aren't meant to be walking sticks. A couple basic lockdown workouts, great video. Josh Klein, nice. It's literally the thumbs up emoji. Someone asked about my collarbone. Got a bunch on different videos. It's fine now. My brain feels it more, like my mind feels it more than my body actually feels it. Like I can focus on it and realize, there it is. And I do see the scar because it's not a small scar. Some of the other guys like Kevin and stuff, they may be able to get back to normal, but my whole broke it in 4 places, 3 places, 4 pieces. I always get that confused. Then we have football gear for next season. I got a Speedflex helmet. Leads into the next comment. Zenith skilled pads, but I'm trying out for will linebacker. We try not to call it weak side linebacker. We call it a will linebacker. And receiver. Well, I guess if you're in the, lower level, things, you can kind of do that. I mean, here in the Netherlands, you probably can, but we usually have enough receivers because, running around constantly and, yeah, they're good at running. The Dutch are. There's a lot of receivers in this country. There's not a lot of defensive tubby guys. We have lineman problems. We have linebacker problems. Like middle linebacker problems. That's why we're relying on kind of an American to do it, because I eat. And then we have unknown user again, the Raiders fan. This is one of those comments that irks me because I'm just that much out of touch with society. Plus, I've always had a problem with reading into what people are saying. So especially on the internet, I read a sentence very flat. And he says, those helmets are bad, but I got a Speedflex and I'm grateful with mine. Well, that's the thing, is I read that as actual bad because the word was in there. So I was like going with a generalized, try not to hold everything into a binary because there's not like the best and everything else is bad. Or even to an extent of what I have is the best. It may not be the objective best, but it is a subjective best, and everything else is bad, even if they are objectively better than what you have. Now, these are some strange words, and you might have to look them up because most of my audience for these videos is not in the large word area. They also don't have very scientific minds, so there's a difference between objective and subjective. Because, yeah, Zenith are nice as fuck. My homies make me want to cop a Zenith because they are nice as fuck, and I pick Zenith over Speedflex. I think there was a weird comment in there about slang is slang, and I don't really remember remember it. Maybe it was somewhere else. But yeah. So it's that second comment got me another bit of saying makes me want to cop one. And I'm like, last I checked, that meant steal. But now I realize that the word cop means just not a police officer, but also a police officer, and it just means get. I'm like, we had a word get, but that's just me. I'm old. I don't understand a lot of slang. I never have. I don't want to even blame it's on age. I was 16 years old and not getting it. But yeah, I'm super bad. But the thing is I'm nice about the living around the Dutch now because they don't have doublespeak per se. They don't say something sarcastic. Okay, they do, but they're very obvious about their sarcasm. Very blunt in their feelings to an extent. Even the manly guys that are trying to protect themselves or trying to, they don't do a very good job in terms of the stuff I've seen in the United States. So here, I don't have to worry. If someone says it's bad, it's bad. At least to them. Reading this comment over the last day or so has got me thinking about various things. And then reading the news in the United States. And we're not going to go into that in this one. But there's just a generalized idea that I'm going to relate to football here in this video. And it's called... the generalized term for a person is hero worship. Now, this doesn't necessarily work that well for items, but it does. It's not hero worship. But think of it that way. When you take one person and you exalt them up to a higher level, on the Patriots, Tom Brady. Oh, boo, gotcha, cool. We're using him as an example on this one. So many people elevated him to hero worship because he was in a system that worked for him. Now he's on the Buccaneers and he's not looking so hot. Even with Gronk, it's not that great. And people fall apart. And they do that with quarterbacks a lot. They tend to hero worship the quarterbacks and then one mistake of the quarterback and the whole game is done, even though, I don't know, your corners always were beat deep. You know what I mean? It's true, the quarterback assists with, getting the ball out and then scoring, but there's multiple people that can screw up a game. Even if they are a run-heavy team, if that running back is not running through the hole that the linemen are parting like the Red Sea, and you aren't scoring points and runs because of it, guess what? It's not the lineman's fault. It's not even the receiver's fault. It's the running back's fault. But anyways, so that's the thing. And with items, it works the same way. I've never been one to devote myself to one thing, one brand. I like my Zenith helmet, and I like the Zenith shoulder pads because they are a hybrid. I don't like skill pads, not enough padding. I don't like lineman pads, too much padding. I wish there was something in the middle. Zenith made hybrid pads. I looked at literally every other brand, and Zenith has that. So it happened to be that my Zenith helmet, which I got for free because of a sponsorship deal many years ago, and I'm putting that thing to good use. The moment it needs to get refurbished, and if it costs me money to refurbish it, I'll probably be buying a new helmet. Because if I have to refurbish it for $200 and I can buy a new helmet for $400, I'm just going to go up and spend the extra $400 and keep it refurbished, and then use that helmet for 5 years, rather than try to refurbish a helmet. And so that's the idea. The other comment said speed flex, and that was Alexander the Great. And then unknown user, both have speed flexes. And I've heard a lot of people have speed flexes. I'm 2 people have speed flexes on my team. But that's the thing, is if, and in the comment that I think got deleted, it might be under spam, I haven't actually checked. He said that, a Zenith is still good, but I like the speed flex more. I'm but your previous comment said that it was bad. And that's the thing with a binary, and I see that really terrible in the States, and people need to get their brains off of it. There is no one good way to play football. There is no, like, a 4-3 is easy to play out of. You can move one of your defensive ends into an jack linebacker sort of position. You can move a defensive end. Like, you are flexible with it, but it's not the best one. Depending on the team you're going against, maybe you want to have a 3-4. I would not suggest a 5-2. There are many other options. There are multiple kinds of receivers. Willie is a good long bomb receiver, but he also trained as a running back, so he's squirrely as shit. So you can put him at slot and wideout. He's not really good at tight end. He's super skinny and isn't going to block very well, especially guys that are, around his same age and designed as a defensive end. He's not going to block him very well. But there are other guys like that would work very well for that. And so that's sort of my advice when it comes down to looking at candies or sodas or football helmets or just the myriad of other things. Don't hero worship. When you're looking at, like, we'll go back to the original thing, political parties, don't think of, like, the one as the savior. The binaries of the United States of, like, it's got to be the best or it is bullshit. Let's do this the other direction. It's either the best or bullshit. I know I sometimes get them in the wrong order. We read right to left. But yeah, that's the thing. So I'm doing my things. And it's just weird. There's so many people. It's sort of like, if you are not the number one linebacker in the entire world, why are you even a linebacker? And I'm like, because I like playing linebacker. And people are like, yeah, well, good on you. And they give you these fake sort of, yeah, good for you, you're good, yay. If you are not the best YouTuber, why are you even on YouTube? I mean, it's like, if you're not Mr. Beast or PewDiePie, why are you even making YouTube videos? I'm like, because I like making YouTube videos. And that's the thing, is it's the extremities with the binaries. And nobody thinks to think of the in-between. Like, you've got to be the number one receiver out of the combine in order to do the thing. And yes, having a good 40 time is really good, but it really doesn't actually have a physical place in football. It just means you're super fast. Like, a time for, like, a 20-yard would be better, because that would show acceleration. But, like, 40 is like, if you're looking for top end speed, you might as well just go 60. Like, who runs 40 yards straight that often? So it's like, but people worship the 40-yard time. And linemen are sitting here like, meh. Like, they run it, but, like, nobody cares about a lineman's 40 time. I'd much rather, and that's true. I would much rather care about the lineman's bench than I would a wide receiver's bench. And nobody really cares about what the kicker does, even though they probably bench and run faster than most wide receivers and corners combined, because kickers are weird. And so that's what I've been thinking about. It's just like the hero worship, it's got to be the best or it's stuff. And even when you use it in slang form, in a casual language, it tells other people that similar language. And unless that person thinks exactly like you do, they're going to say, oh, well, the Zenith is bad. Even if it's playfully, they say it over and over. And when you tell yourself one thing over and over, when you hear something over and over, these people are bad, these people are bad, let's not let these people in, these people are bad, even jokingly, it starts turning into a belief system. And that belief system can hurt other people. And that's sort of the message beyond. Like, football teaches you a lot about life. And a lot of it is, you don't have to have, all matching brand gear. You may like Zenith, but I guarantee you, you're gonna probably have to get some I had a Zenith helmet and shut shoulder pads. Now I have Zenith pads. But who knows, maybe I'll get myself a Vices helmet next year or something, or in the next couple of years or something. Who knows? And then I'll have Zenith pads and Vice's helmet, and oh, they're mismatching and they don't work for whatever. It's my choice, and not a lot of people are given their choice anymore. It's you got to do it my way, or you're doing it bad, and people get like seriously mental. The fact that it's like, well, I'm doing it bad, I'm doing it wrong. There's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of things that are good, but nobody cares about them because they're just good. Last little bit of thought. Now, we're dealing with the world first on Mythic Castle Nathria on World of Warcraft right now. How many guilds are actually running Castle Nathria Mythic? Actually running at all? And then however many of them are actually progressed in the first week. Like, I understand that the world first is going to get done super fast and super soon, but like there's guilds that are already in on the first week or second week of Mythic already, and they're like, we got a crackpot team and we already got 3 bosses down in Mythic. And I'd be like, you are super good, because I can't even get into Raid Finder yet. I'm being lazy. So there's like, and that's part of like the whole like Asian parent. You didn't get an A+, you flunked. No, an A is fucking awesome. So that's just my advice. Perhaps maybe watch language when you talk with other people, because they don't necessarily know that you mean something is bad jokingly. A lot of air quotes today, but that's how Americans talk. You need to put air quotes around everything. Otherwise, they don't really understand that you're being sarcastic. Yeah, it got real dark all of a sudden.